In this video, I'm going to show how to answer some quiz questions. So I want to go here and we'll look at this type of quiz question, and then I'll show how to answer it. This is going to be in Quiz How To. There's two types of questions that we haven't had before that I want to show you what I expect for the answer. We'll start with quiz algorithm.txt. So the question would look something like this. We give a list. There's two algorithms that we have, selection sort and binary search, so you need to watch those videos before this makes any sense to you. So for selection sort, we have a list, and we want to show what the list looks like as the list is sorted. I'm going to go over here and show how I would keep track of this. And I will just, so I have the finished file there. I'm just going to copy. Alright, so if I had this as my list here, I'll cover up that work. So if this is my initial list, now I'm going to run selection sort. This looks like the following as selection sort runs. Okay, so now I'm going to keep track. Initially it looks like this, and the way selection sorts works is it finds the smallest and puts it where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to keep track by copy paste, and I know that after the first time the algorithms run, the smallest should be here. Okay, so that's going to be 3, and it'll be the first time it sees 3 the way the algorithm runs. So this will switch 3 and 6. 3 would go here, 6 would go here. Okay, so that's what it looks like after the first time through in selection sort. Now the second time through, I know that the 3 is going to stay where it is, and then I'm going to put the next smallest here, and the next smallest here is another 3 at the end there. So that will switch with the 6. It would look like this after the first time, or second time through. Next time through, I know that the next smallest is going to go here. That's the 5. So the 5 and the 9 get switched. And next time through, the next smallest will go here. That'll be a 6. So the 6 and the 9 get switched. And now here it's really done because there's only one item left. If you want to, you can write it like this to say, okay, now we know the whole thing's sorted. So the final list is like this. Okay, so this is what I would be expecting for asking to show me what the list looks like in selection sort. That's the type of question that I could ask. Okay, so I'll say selection sort question looks like this. Alright, and now I have that in the file here as well. And if I wanted to check that, I could run my selection sort algorithm that we did in class. That was node sorting, and then I would give the list 6, 3, 9, 5, 3. And I should see the same values there. So I can check that I have that correct. Alright. The next type of question would be a binary search question. So for a binary search question, it's going to have an already sorted list and a number that we're looking for. This example here has this one. So searching for x equals 8 in list like this. Okay, so what I would put for my answer for this question, I have the list is that, and the index on those is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, I actually made the list bigger here to update that file. Okay, so 50, 62, 75, 80. Go ahead and update that file though. Quiz, this is quiz algorithm. Okay, so this is my list with the indexes, and the way binary search works is it's always keeping track of the low. Initially we have the whole list we're looking at, the high, and the middle. And the middle, the formula is the halfway point. At the beginning it's going to be high minus low, so 8 minus 0 over 2, which is 4. Okay, and then we look at x is the number we're looking for, and then we're going to compare it against list bracket mid. List bracket mid is 4, so that's 44, and this is less. If it's less, then we know we don't have to look at this part of the list here because our number is smaller, so we would set high equal to mid minus 1, which is 3. Okay, so then we run it again. Now low is 0, high is 3, and mid is 3 minus 0 over 2. We round down, so that's 1. 3 halves is 1.5, but we round down to 1. So now we have x equals 8. We're comparing against list bracket 1. List bracket 1 is 6. Okay, so 8 is bigger than 6. Now we're going to adjust the low. So when we adjust the low, we know we don't have to look at anything below here, so we set low equal to mid plus 1, which is 2. Now we're running it with low equal 2, high equal 3, and the mid is the low plus the difference, half the difference. So 3 minus 2 over 2, which is 3. We have a 2, we have halfway between, we're at 2 and 3. Halfway between there is 2.5. Well, it's 2 plus half the difference. Right, that actually will be 2. 3 minus 2 is 1 half, but we round down. Okay, so we have x equals 8, and we're comparing against list bracket 2. List bracket 2 is 10. X is less than that. So now we're going to set high equals mid minus 1, which is 1. So next time we would have low equals 2, high equals 1. That means that we didn't find it because now the high is smaller than the low. Search done, x not found. Alright, let's see if that agrees with what we have over here. So we have mid going 4, 1, looks like there's a mistake there. So this is right, I'll update this file over here. This is what we would have. That would be it for this one. Let me just pause to make sure. Yeah, this one is right, so I'm going to update that file here. So what I actually had was here. Just copy paste this. Okay, so that would be your two algorithms that we did. If I want you to show me how the algorithm works, this is what your answer would be. And the important thing here is keeping track of what's happening at each step. So we yeah. All right, so that's one type of question. And then the other type of question is a trace the code. So I will give you a some JavaScript, and then I want you to show me what happens with all the variables as we go. So this will be a right, this is the wrong file. So in my temporary file, so this would be program trace question. So if I have this as my code, the file would have some code in it, and it will say keep track of the variables and what are the final values. So here I'll have my global variables. If I look in the file here, these are things that are not inside of a function. So I have x, and then I'm going to have y here in this for loop. And I also have the change function. Inside the change function, if I ever get inside of there, there's these three variables. Okay, so that's what I'm going to need to record, and I just start at the top of the file, so I'll put my cursor where I'm running. I start off and x is 1. This function is declared, doesn't do anything. I get to the for loop, I'm going to have y equals 4. Is y greater than 0? Yes, so I'm going to do this part right here. So I'm going to run the change function, and that's going to go into x. So I'm going to keep track here on x that I'm going to run change of y xx. So that's 1, 1. There will be some value there. But now I'm going to be inside of the change function. And I came in with, this was 4 getting copied into A, 1 getting copied into B, 1 getting copied into C. So 4, 1, 1. And I want to keep track of what the return value is. So there's this if test, is A equal to 0? A is not equal to 0, so then this one would run. A times B times C is 4 times 1 times 1 equals 4. Okay, so that's what gets returned from the change function, and that was ready to go into x here. So now x is 4. That's this line. Then we go up and do this statement. This is the increment, but so here it's subtracting 2 from y, so now y would be 2. Is y greater than or equal to 0? It is, so we're going to do this line again, which is going to change x again. So now it's change y is 2, x is 4. That's going to be some value. I'm going to be back in the change function again with different values for a, b, and c. I called it like this, 244, 244. And I'm going to have a new return value. I'm going to leave this one here. And now I'm going to keep track the second time. I do the if test. Is A not equal to 0? There's A, it's 2. So it is not equal to 0. I return A times B, which now is 2 times 4 times 4, which is 32. And that goes up into x. So now x is 32. Alright, this line's done. We go back up and do y minus equals 2 again. Y is 0 now. Is y greater than or equal to 0? It is. So we're going to do this again. That'll be change y xx, y is 0, x is 32. So we're going to be in the change function again with 0, 32, 32. There's going to be another return value. And we do this if test. Is A not equal to 0? Now it is 0, so we're going to do A plus B plus C, which is 0 plus 32 plus 32, 64. So now we're up here. X is now 64. Okay, this is done. We do y minus equals 2. That's -2. We check, is -2 greater than or equal to 0? It's not. So we would be done with the for loop. So now the final values for x and y are x equals 64, y equals -2. So those were the variables that weren't in the function. And that would be, so this whole thing would be my answer. I can see the variables as they go, and I have the final values for x and y. Now this code here, I can copy and paste. If I don't give you this, I probably won't give it with a console.log, but you can console.log the final variable values and run it. Oh, right, this is in a different directory. All right, so there is, I logged x and y, x is 64, y is -2. If I got different values, then I would know that I made a mistake somewhere, and I would want to do this again. Maybe leave my work there, but then start a new one. All right, and if you want to see, there was the quiz algorithm, this is the quiz trace. So here it is, this was the question, and this is what I would have done. There's a note here, if you want to practice, you could try the same exact code, but change the initial value of x and y. So here, instead of x equals 1, make x equals 2. Instead of y equals 4, make y equals 3. And then try to keep track of what you get. And then you can also run it to make sure you got the right value. All right, so these are two new types of questions, trace the code and run the algorithm. Both of these are important types of questions that you'll see in general in your CS classes, that you have to be able to run an algorithm. You have to be able to run an algorithm, keep track of what's going on. You have to be able to run the code yourself and keep track of what's going on. You're not going to have any hope of being able to debug your programs if you can't do this. Okay, good luck.